Stuart McLean got his start making radio documentaries for CBC's Sunday Morning. This is perhaps why he is able to so adeptly write about human nature. Since 1994, he has delighted listeners with his own radio program, The Vinyl Cafe, which includes his David Morley stories, his astute observations on the minutiae of life, as well as his obvious, unabashed enthusiasm for Canadiana. If there could be, Stuart McLean would be the voice of Canada. How are you doing today, Stuart?
I'm fine, thank you.
I kind of want to start at somewhat of the beginning. I'm going to call this first a couple questions, part one, Stuart as storyteller. I'm always interested for people who write and perform for a living, what some of your influences were when you were like a boy and coming of age of reading and stuff like that.
I didn't used to do my homework, and I'm not sure why I did, because if I had spent an hour or two on my homework, my life would have been a lot happier, I think. But I would be sent to my room to work on it, and instead of working on it, I would read, and not good books. I read, instead of the Hardy Boys, I read a series of books called the Ken Holt Mystery Series. Ken was a newspaper boy, son of a traveling foreign correspondent who would get into mishaps and adventures, often due to his father's work. I read James Bond. I read a lot of the Saint, which was a series of adventure series, kind of a. I don't know if they're a step up or a step down from the Ken Holt. Ken Holt books were rather well written, I think. I just read all the time, comic books.
Yeah.
I wish I'd read better, but I read poorly, but I read.
Yeah, I guess, do you describe to the fact that any reading is good reading? A lot of parents believe that, so.
Yeah, I think any reading is good reading, and it was although I think good reading and thoughtful reading is better than, bad reading.
I have to find your stories and essays swap between the funny and the melancholy. How do you find that balance when you're writing?
Well, E.B. White talks about humor writing as having an added dimension, because it can take you to a place where tears and laughter meet. And he says it can do that because, like poetry, humor writing has an added dimension. And when it does that, it takes the reader close to the big hot fire that is truth. I think there's I think that at the heart of pain and sorrow is laughter. I think that when we gather together to mourn the passing of a friend or a loved one, we often fall into laughter. We turn to the memories that make us laugh. So I think when we're sad, we naturally turn to laughter. And also, I think at the base of laughter is the great sorrow of death. That I think when we do laugh, we're always laughing at, in some way, we're laughing in the face of death. And all, even, most laughter is at misfortune. When someone sets up an ironing board and it collapses, the good-hearted rush to help, but the humorist rushes for his pencil.
Right.
Because there is fodder here for laughter.
Yeah. So the next few questions I'm titling Part 2 Radio Drama. I was wondering how you chose, or I don't know if you chose it at all, radio as a career.
I was always enchanted by radio. I fell in love with radio as a young boy. I was not a particularly successful boy. I didn't do well in school. I didn't do well on the athletic field. I didn't have a lot of self-confidence or feel like I belonged to the pack. I always kind of belonged on the edge of the pack. And I think I connected with the world a little bit and received my feelings of belonging by listening to some of the radio shows that were on the air when I was a kid. So, they were, a DJ spinning records in the nighttime and building a community giving, in the receiving mode, you're in the giving mode, and you become less connected. I'm the only guy that doesn't get to listen to the Vinyl Cafe.
Right.
I'm unable to, even when I do listen, I don't listen the way others listen. So
yeah.
I've lost the connection that others have. But it was just a long love affair with the music.
I love radio too. I guess my question then, nowadays, do you believe that radio is still relevant?
Oh, and more than it was for a long time. It was most relevant, I guess, back when it was beginning, and it was offering us a connection of a level that we'd never seen before. People would gather around the radio and listen as families. People would gather around neighborhood radio stations, go over to a guy's house to listen to his radio because it was the only one in town. It didn't listen to in that way anymore, but with podcasts, it's being listened to in a vigorous way that it hasn't for a long time. People are able to shift the shows around and listen to them in their own time, and certain shows are getting a lot of attention.
Perfect. So just two last questions here. I'm going to call these part 3, looking backwards and forwards. In your newest book, you have a chapter entitled A Letter to a Young Friend Heading Back to School. So you talk about not being afraid to make mistakes, how you have erasers for a reason. I was wondering if you could think of the greatest mistake that you learned the most from.
That's a good question. I don't know if I can properly answer that question. It takes, I'd have to give a lot of thought to that question. The answer that comes to mind is an answer I'm probably just not prepared to share. It's, I'm thinking of personal, private things. Things that have happened between me and others who, and it's their story as well as mine. And matters of the heart. I don't.
Yeah. Well, how about this then? What do you consider your greatest success then?
In the professional world, it would be my radio show, and it would be the fact that we've created this little oasis of community, which people feel connected to, and that has given people, I know it's given people laughter, the gift of laughter in times when there hasn't been a lot of laughter in their lives. I've had people who have told me how they've listened to our show by a hospital bed when somebody was gravely ill, and they laughed, in the face of darkness together. I think that's a pretty nice thing. The others have listened in less grave circumstances, but have equally used the show and the stories to share with others. They've listened together or listened apart and then talked about listening. I think that we've created that and done some small good, but maybe more importantly, done no harm. It's an okay thing. I feel like I've contributed to the greater good in some way. On a personal level, that would be my professional success. On a personal level, probably my 2 boys. But mostly I just stood aside and watched in wonder. I don't think I can take credit. I just but as a father, I'm very proud of what they've done. I think they're a great thing.
That's awesome. Well, I'm definitely a fan. Thank you so much for taking the time here today to talk with me. I guess I'll be seeing you in Calgary here in a few days. I'm coming to your concert, so.
I'll look forward to that.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Very best. Come
Bye.
backstage and say hello.
I will.